Hello and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hi everyone. Welcome to the week of July 20th through July 26th. And the energy is huge. It's huge. And this is one of those weeks where there's a lot going on and I'm not going to be able to talk about it all. And I also want to just say up front, we're going to be talking about Mars, the lunar nodes, especially the South Node, and Venus. So I know you all care about Venus, and that's when we get to the good stuff. It comes around in sort of the second half of the whole thing, so stay with me. You're going to want to hear the better energy that's coming, right? So it's a big week. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I'd really appreciate it if you would share the podcast, rate it on whatever app you listen on, and all of those kinds of things, because it helps me out a lot, and I would be super grateful. But I'm grateful for you being here one way or another, so let's jump into it. All right, the big deal. On the 22nd, now this energy is going to be happening all week. On the 22nd, though, we get Mars conjunct the South Node. We get Venus forming a square with both nodes and Mars. Okay, so this is a whole lot. It's complicated. I'm going to try to work this all out. So we've got Mars, Venus, fate, tense aspects, the South Node of letting go. It's a lot. So that's what we're talking about. Like I said, it's really all week long, but the exact degree of the aspects is going to be on the 22nd. And just to give you a little taste of some of the other stuff that's going on, also on the 22nd, the sun is moving into rulership in Leo. So that's a time of shining brightly, following your bliss, standing in the spotlight. Yeah, just being there in the joy of the sunshine, right? The sun is also going to be sextiling Uranus. Okay, this is a very big deal. It's like we want to be seen for our freaky, unique selves. It's kind of wonderful. Then on the 24th, the sun is going to form a harmonious aspect to both Saturn and Neptune. This is going to ask us to slow down and enjoy a sort of gentle path toward whatever progress we're trying to make. That's kind of wonderful too. The sun trining Neptune is fantastic for all of you creative people out there. So my artist and writer friends and all people who do anything creative, the sun trining Neptune is a very, very vibrant creative energy. So you all should be doing fantastically at that time. But on the same day, the sun is opposing Pluto, so there could also be some power struggles that come along. So that part's not just for my creative friends, that's for all of us. So anyway, it's a whole lot. Most of the other stuff happening in the sky, other than the 20 gazillion things I'm going to actually be talking about, have to do with the sun. So it's pretty good, and they're all good. So happy. All right, so let's just jump right in. We've got Mars in Virgo on top of making a conjunction with the South Node. The South Node of the moon is always about letting go. So on the most basic level, the South Node in Virgo, we already talked about this when the lunar nodes changed signs back in January. And by the way, they're going to stay where they are until July of 2026. The South Node in Virgo has a lot to do with letting go of so much attention to all the picky little details about everything, right? Those things, those details that just make us crazy. It's that role of being the administrator in our own lives, right? The South Node is saying, yeah, if you want to progress toward your destiny, this year is about letting go of that feeling that everything has to be controlled. The North Node is always opposite the South Node. The North Node is in Pisces. What are we supposed to be focusing on? The bigger picture, spiritual reality, rather than earthly, mundane trivia. So that starts us off, but now we've got to put Mars into that. Mars, you know, the one that I always say is either the psycho killer or the noble warrior, depending on which one we're getting. In this case, I'm not really thinking that we're going to get either of those extremes. I think it's going to be a little bit different with this conjunction to the South Node. Mars can be anger and violence, passion and drive. In Virgo, that can make us really laser focused on what we want to cut out of our lives, what we want to sort of surgically remove, right? It's controlling, but it's usually Mars rules separation and cutting things out. He literally rules things like knives and scalpels and surgery. So it seems when you first think about it, like, well, that's a good thing, right? Mars is going to be in Virgo cutting things out. That's what the South Node wants. So win-win, right? Wrong. Wrong. That's not how it works. The South Node isn't asking us to cut things out efficiently. That's not the job. The South Node is saying spend less of your energy in this Virgoan realm. Spend less of your energy worrying about all these details and trying to control all the stuff. It's not saying bring Mars in and chop it up real quick. That's not the point. So with Mars bringing passion and fire to Virgo, it's kind of doing the opposite of what the South Node wants us to do. We may be feeling a kind of push-pull, like, no, I need to control this. No, I'm not supposed to be controlling this. I need to cut out these things. No, I'm not even supposed to be thinking about these things, right? There could be some element of kind of, yeah, like I already said, push-pull, in our focus in that area. So we have to keep in mind, if this is what we're being confronted with, we have to keep in mind that the goal this year is Pisces, deeply spiritual, deeply intuitive Pisces. Pisces is a water sign that's all about the feelings and the depth. So when we start getting into this, whatever craziness is going to be going on in Virgo, when you catch yourself, and you'll feel this. Remind yourself that it's the bigger picture. It's the more inner picture. It's not the little details that we care about right now. The other thing that Mars and the South Node can bring up is obsession over past issues. You know that ex who broke your heart like 14 years ago? Yeah, you might suddenly find that you're like crazy obsessed with that. Like you just can't let go of that. Mars is fiery passion and wants to act. And the South Node is about karma and the past. So it may be that you're right, that there was something that connected you karmically to that person or that situation. It could be, the boss who fired you wrongly. It could be something like that. And what the South Node wants is like, let it go. Yes, there was a karmic connection, but let it go. It's time to move on. Mars is saying, no, I want to tell them. I don't know if he, she, the boss, the lover, the whatever, I don't know if they ever really understood. I don't know if they understood how much they hurt me or how they got it wrong or whatever. But I promise you, you'll know whatever because you're going to be obsessing about it, right? Those of us who get hit with this, we're going to know. Yeah, just expect that to be happening. And with Mars, the likelihood of us acting out impulsively It's really high. It is really high. That's the thing that happens with Mars. We act out. Mars rules Aries, the impulsive toddler of the zodiac. Yeah, we may find that we're texting that ex and giving them what for one more time. So those are the kinds of things that can be happening. For some of us, however, that anger, that energy of Mars gets turned inwards. So when these old wounds, old whatever hurts come up, we might find that some of us go into a bad mood, a funk, a depression. If this is you, please reach out and get help. That's a very Pisces thing to do. Reach out to your tribe, your therapist, whoever that is, and get help. Just a word to the wise, because this Mars South Node thing, the depression, it could be a lot to deal with. And for other people, this is going to bring overwhelming exhaustion because it's another way we turn that Mars inward. And let's face it, carrying grudges, holding on to all the details, fighting it out a million times in our brains. It's exhausting. And the South Node, like in medical astrology and things like that, the South Node is often connected to depletion. So you may find that you're just shockingly tired. And if so, the way through it is rest. Rest. It's also about letting go. There's also going to be a huge release if you can, through Pisces, through spiritual connection, through meditation, prayer, walks by water, all of those kind of things. If you can find your way through so that you could truly let go of whatever this old thing that you're now obsessing about and give yourself a little rest, you will come out the other end much, much better, much stronger, and with cosmic, karmic lessons learned. But as I promised, don't freak out. I know this all sounds really, really bad right now. That's not all there is, because Venus is also in this picture. And the nodes, Mars and Venus, are locked together. They're forming a triangle, a tense triangle, but a triangle. And so you don't get any of this without Venus being involved. And Venus, even when she's in an awkward or difficult aspect, she's still Venus. She's still the goddess of love and art and beauty and money and comfort. Y'all know, right? All the good stuff. She's still that goddess. So she's bringing some good vibes in a tense way to this situation. She's in Gemini. So one thing to consider is we're going to probably need to talk through a lot of this stuff. So keep that in mind. But let's just talk about what Venus brings to the mix. All right. So Venus and the lunar nodes, this tells us that something faded and good, because Venus is not going to bring fated bad stuff. That is not her job in the sky. So Venus and the nodes being in connection, now it's a square. So it might be that after some tension, there is going to be harmony. We're going to find our way to some kind of positive, gentle, harmonious outcome. And whatever this outcome is, it is going to have deep life lessons that move us along our path of destiny, because that's what the nodes do, right? That's their job, to help us fine tune each area of life year by year, rather year and a half by year and a half, as we move toward our natal nodes and our true path of destiny. So it gets all very complicated. Just know that this week, with Venus and the nodes connected, we're going to get to something good. But how are we getting there? Because she's also squaring Mars. Now, these two can be the celestial lovers, but they're not in a good aspect with each other. So again, Venus is always going to bring something good. It's just, what does it take to get there? Remember that ex that we're going to be all obsessed about and we need to tell off for no apparent reason except our brains won't leave us alone? It's possible, I know you're not going to like this example, but hang with me. It's possible that we do tell that person off, and after we yell it through, talk it through, whatever it is we're going to do, text it through, we move into a comfortable friendship. And we realized through all of this that we were karmically meant to be friends, not lovers. That's a possible storyline that would make sense of this configuration. Or it could be that we meet somebody brand new after we let go of the idea of getting back at that ex-lover or whatever. We finally release it, and then some fated person walks into our lives and we're like, oh, I don't care about that anymore, right? I released that old thing and now my person is really here. And that old thing is like a distant, distant memory. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It could be that that person that we meet rubs us wrong at first. That's that tension, right? Could be that we meet somebody and we're all about thinking they're such a jerk or whatever. And then they start to grow on us. And then we fall madly in love and realize they're our soulmate. It could be that kind of thing. And it can happen with any of the Venus-y things. We find our way through our spirituality, through our meditation, through our soul work, whatever it is, we find our way to release that obsession with that old boss who fired us unjustly. And once we finally let go of that energy for real, we get these great ideas about what we really want to do, what we're meant to do, or job offers come out of nowhere because they're fated, right? It's like karma. We get some offer that it's like we never would have expected. It's that kind of thing. It can happen with art projects where we have breakthroughs. After we release a project we've been struggling because we have to get it right, and we finally set the damn thing on fire, and all of a sudden we have amazing creative breakthrough. It can happen in any Venus-y kind of area. So whatever it is, I think this week, I don't want to lie, right? I think this week is going to be tense. I think there are going to be some things that come up for us that are uncomfortable and that just plain old aren't fun. Mars is doing some damage here. But I do believe with the nodes involved and with Venus involved, we find our way through it and we come out to a much better place, and we're just freer and ready to walk forward down our paths. And I think it's really, really good. The way I would characterize the problem this week, that's going to be the hardest one to grapple with, is we're going to need to listen to our hearts, not the obsessed demons in our brains. And if we don't slow down, and Mars doesn't want to slow down, we may not know which is which. So my advice, slow down, engage in your spiritual practices, whatever those are. And I think on the other side of this, it's going to be amazing. And so I know that's a whole lot. I hope it wasn't too confusing. It's sort of a complicated energy, but I think it's what's important this week. Thank you for sticking around with me and sharing and liking and all the stuff, as I always say. And until next week, go out and seize the energies of the stars. This is my wish for you always. And until next time, bye.